It's good that you can take a stand there. Before we move on, I do have one question. Okay, are you familiar with the wide receiver dead zone?
No.
Okay, you were right, Deo. Most people know. Okay. So, in years past, there's been like this RB dead zone that people are talking about because people were drafting, running backs a lot earlier. Yeah. With the running backs that are coming down and everybody's so like hungry for wide receivers, I feel like that wide receiver round, like, maybe as early as round 4 through like round 7, 8. I feel like they're not necessarily landmines. They aren't guys that are just going to just like be complete duds throughout the year when you look at their end of season numbers, but they're guys that maybe aren't going to like pay off compared to some of the running backs that may be going around them. So between rounds 4 or 7, I'm not going to ask you who to avoid, but like who are like guys that you're like, okay, I want that guy. Like these are guys that like are in rounds, let's say 5 through 8. Who are the guys between rounds 5 through 8 that you're really going after?
So I just like hate dead zone analysis just because like I believe like every season is its own unique special snowflake. Like last year, like, screw Josh Jacobs. He's a dead zone running back and he like broke fantasy football. Yeah. But you said 5 through 8. Who am I targeting here?
5 through 8.
I do love me some Darren Waller in this format. To get him in round 5, like I think he's probably the single most mispriced player in fantasy. Rashad White I like a lot. Deontay Johnson I like a lot.
Okay.
I think he finishes as a high-end wide receiver too.
Sure.
He's he's just like he's just always open, and like that you get targets, you score fantasy. He's not going to score 0 touchdowns again. Here, I'm not really an Alexander Madison guy, but like he is probably going to get the Dalvin role. That's good value. Brandon Ayuk, just because Brett is like always right. So like the talent's there. James Conner again, we talked about. Michael Pittman was great value for you. That was a really good pick. Kadarius Toney, I'm taking some L's just because this injury is so bad, but like he was one of my must draft at all cost players.
Why?
For sure. So it's again like upside wins championships. Like I care way more about the upside than the risk in this round range. And to me, like it was legitimately like Tyreek Hill-esque upside. Like if he could just stay healthy, like the talent's there. Brett Veach is not a liar. When Patrick Mahomes is entering his sophomore season, he was like, this is the greatest player I've ever watched football in practice. And like he only had one start under his belt, and he said that. And this offseason, he said, Kadarius Toney is our wide receiver 1. We think he's like super he could do the deep threat stuff that Tyreek did. He's super damaging after the catch. And so like I just saw like minimal downside. Like even if he just gets, some people said, he's Mecole Hardman plus, and it's like, okay, but like he's one of the best it's him and Debo are the best yak guys in the game. And like Patrick Mahomes averages 12 shovel pass touchdowns per season. So he'll get that. Yeah. And look, I really thought he was going to break leagues. This injury was devastating.
Yeah. So obviously like, we got tons of just amazing fantasy docs. We have a fantasy doc that works closely with us as well.
So tell me.
So no, I'm just saying, like, you probably know as much as I know, but I think most people have kind of come to the conclusion that, he had like a, probably like a small tear in his meniscus, that ideally we're looking at like 4 to 6 weeks. But what I'm getting at is like his ADP is obviously going to drop, How far are you doubling down is my question.
Of course, I always double down, man.
Yeah, because this is like a situation where you could like easily see like, he's like, it's like he gets injured and then he's like an aftermath, and then Sky Moore, Rashee Rice, or whoever you have kind of filling in his place. It's like we're approaching that with the idea that like he's gone the entire season, and this just opens up the path for them the entire season, and we don't know.
Have they said anything?
They haven't said anything. Well, they said potentially week 1, which I think is about 6 weeks.
Season at least.
Yeah.
Like
so
by week 5, we'll forget about it, basically.
Yeah, like week 1, we could potentially forget about it.
So you can get him at a discount right now, then.
Potentially, I like the idea of doubling down, or just like now, if you weren't in before, like grabbing some shit, because you don't know. Like he may not do anything the first 1 to 2 weeks, but like week 3 when he's like healthy, like they had a plan for him. They have a plan for him. I don't know what that plan is, but they have a plan for him. Yeah. They traded for him. They've been talking him up, so they have a plan
with these tournaments.